This is the biggest week of the year in New Orleans, Mardi Gras, attracting tourists from all over the country. But as Scott Pelley reports tonight, the celebrations mask a festering crime problem in a city that's been leading all others in per capita murder.
Drug trial of a former New Orleans police officer could wrap up tomorrow. Ex-Blue Beret Ralph Jones is charged with conspiracy to distribute cocaine. He's accused of taking money to protect a drug dealer's cocaine operation.
The arrest has some top federal officials surprised and asking questions. It comes as welcome news, however, to one of the officers who got out of jail today. Mike Longman reports.
For the indicted Blue Beret, it was a first taste of freedom in a week.
Yeah, it's been tough on me and my family, but that's as far as I'm going to say.
Members of Officer Fisher's family put up $100,000. Bond was high because Fisher, along with his partner Ralph Jones, released earlier, are charged with protecting a drug dealer.
Alright, so peep game, this right here ain't no fairy tale. It damn sure ain't no Scarface movie. It's the real life grimy saga of Richard Peña, New Orleans' own plug to the plug, moving big weight, stacking bodies and buying off badges like they was pool boys from We Never Closed. Now before Peña was sitting up in the feds with a life sentence hanging over his dome like a chandelier in a trap house, the boy was running an operation so deep, so greasy, even 12 was getting a cut. I'm talking about NOPD officers taking side hustles that made their pension look like lunch money. Bro had half the city on payroll, from corner boys to cops with badges and baby mamas on dope. It started in the early 90s, around 92. Peña was already neck deep in the game, pushing pure white, out that stepped on re-rock. His operation had stretched from uptown to downtown, from the Calio all the way to the lower 9. Word on the streets was if you were looking for that fire, Peña had it. If you was competition, you was missing. Ask around if you think I'm lying. See, Peña wasn't no flashy cat, no mean coats, no limos. He kept it moving in silence, but don't get it twisted. Dude had an army behind him, not just street goons. We talking about certified badge wearing, gun toting cops who clocked in for the city and clocked out for Peña. Enter David Singleton. This was one of the NOPD's finest. If finest mean a full-time dirty ass cop and part-time kidnap for hire specialist. Singleton was Peña's inside man. If Peña said, bring me that clown who's stepping on my turf, Singleton was already gassing up the cruiser. No warrant, no backup, just a badge and a motive. Peña had Singleton running down rival dealers like he was doing ride-alongs in Grand Theft Auto. Dude was straight up pull people off the street, toss them in the whip, and deliver them gift wrap to Peña. One time he even delivered that boy Richard Curtis. He ended up dead, gone, vanished like a Snapchat message. And Singleton ain't pulled this crooked cop routine solo dolo. Bernard Smith, another NOPD badge rocking dirtbag, was deep in the mix too. Together they out here wildin', snatching rivals, shaking down dope boys, and feeding info to Peña like snitches in uniform. It wasn't even a department at this point. It was a cartel side hustle. How the hell did Peña keep all this rolling? Simple. Money talks and loyalty by silence. The dude had that paper, not just trap house chump change, millions. He was moving hundreds of kilos of coke over the years. That ain't break it down in the kitchen type weight. That's I own the kitchen, the chef, and the delivery truck. I'm talking real weight. From 1992 to 1997, Peña ran New Orleans like his own empire. Had lieutenants on every block, stash houses all over the map, and a reputation that made folks whisper his name like he was the Grim Reaper selling bricks. But he wasn't just moving dope. Bro was orchestrating murders, organizing kidnappings, and doing cleanups with crooked cops as the janitors. The feds, man, they was late to the party per usual. DEA out here still trying to crack pages while Peña was switching up phones like burner phones grew on trees. But eventually, them alphabet boys caught wind of how deep Peña's reach really was. It wasn't no rookie bust that brought him down. It was a full-blown conspiracy case, RICO type shit. Kind of case that come with 27-page factual basis documents. After Block testified testifying, and indictments so thick you could use them as a doorstop. That's when the rats start dancing out the walls. Singleton folded like a lawn chair. Who pled guilty, admitted he helped Peña run down ops, said he personally kidnapped 2 people for Peña and even stood watch while Peña did whatever the hell he wanted to do with him. His defense, I was just taking orders. Or if you don't get out of here with that bootlicker excuse type shit you trying to use. Smith, same story. Or in the web, flipped quicker than the short or the cook. Even testified that he helped Singleton run game on dudes for Peña's benefit. Badge he wore was just a prop in his whole narco theater. But let's not act like the prosecution was out here wearing capes either. The U.S. Attorney's Office tried to make it look like they was cleaning up the streets. They was late, sloppy, and celebrating like they won the Super Bowl when half the case fell in their lap. Peña's operation been popping off for damn near 5 years. The cops on the damn payroll. Y'all just not piecing it together? Congratulations, you found the Titanic after it hit the iceberg. Bravo, you need a standing applause. But anyway, back to Peña. Once the wall started closing in, he ain't even fight it. Dude pled guilty, not because he had a change of heart, because he knew he had too many receipts. He talking hundreds of kilos traced back to him. Testimony from 2 crooked ass cops, phone records, wiretaps, stash house raids, all of it. They gave that boy life without parole, no death penalty, but he ain't never touching the sidewalk again. And you know what? He took that bed like a G, no tears, no circus, no I found God monologue. He knew what it was. See what made Peña different from your average trap boss, that he wasn't just slinging dope, he was building infrastructure. This man had supply chains like he was Amazon Prime. Shipments coming in from Miami, Houston, even crossed the damn border. Bro had connections stretching so far, it felt like he had T-Mobile towers in Colombia. And he ain't just stack it all in one crib. Nah, stash houses all across the Endo, from run-down spots in the 7th Ward to nice-looking duplexes in Gentile, but nobody would suspect a damn thing. These spots had false walls, underground compartments, even custom plumbing just in case they needed to flush the work. This man was treating coke like it was a damn COVID vaccine. And the cash, man, that paper trail looked like a tornado hit on a Monopoly board. Peña knew better than to stack millions on that mattress. He laundered through car washes, hair salon, construction fronts, and even a couple of churches that probably ain't seen a real pastor since the Reagan era. He was hiding money so slick that IRS would have had to call Scooby-Doo and the mystery team to find it. But you already know, no empire like that stands unless them people look the other way. And man, did New Orleans look the other way. Cops on payroll, politicians too, scared or too crooked to speak up. Whole neighborhoods knew Peña was the man, and folks was either with it or ducking it. The hood looked at him like a boss, and the law like a damn paycheck. What made it worse? The city was dirty from the inside out. The NOPD at the time was a whole damn joke, crooked as them line of your pops used to give you when you was a kid. You had Singleton and Smith out here working as Peña's personal Uber drivers for kidnappings. But even beyond them two, NOPD had a whole ecosystem of silence. Cats saw what Singleton was doing and said nothing, cause truth be told, everybody knew. They were just waiting their turn for a piece of the pie. And the prosecution team, boy, let me tell you, these folks strutted in like they were saving Gotham. But the truth is, they spoon-fed the whole case. Peña's people only flipped after years of unchecked wilding, and the feds only swooped in once the city already had 6 bodies too late and 5 years too slow. Even when they had them dead to rights, it took a 27-page factual basis just to lay it all out. Not one line of that made them look smart. It just made it clear. Peña was running game in y'all face, and y'all was either clueless, complicit, or collecting bread to ignore it. Now let's talk about the murders. This wasn't no wrong place, wrong time kind of thing. Peña had folks straight up disappeared. When you running bricks that heavy, you gotta keep your circle tight, and your enemies either loyal or dead. Peña made sure it was the latter. Robin Petrie, gone. Word is she knew too much, might have seen too much, might have said the wrong thing. Either way, she vanished. It ain't take long before her name came up in Peña's case file. To Curtis, that was a wrap. Caught up in the same trap Singleton helped set. 1 minute he walking around the city, next thing you know he getting snatched up by cops moonlighting as bounty hunters. Delivered to Peña like DoorDash with a bullet in the bag. That shit wasn't no arrest. That was a hit with a badge. Only reason the whole thing unraveled was because of some sloppy slip-ups on phones and dumb arrogance. Peña's crew was making too many calls, not switching up numbers, not using codes. One of the lieutenants got caught slipping, and boom, DEA started snatching phone records like it was Black Friday. They saw them same numbers popping up on burner phones tied to Singleton. Then more names popped up. Whole web started untangling. Wiretap started humming, and just like that, the empire started cracking like a windshield hit from a pebble off an 18-wheeler. Then came the rats, and you already know. Once the feds rolled up and offered folks a seat at the snitch table, dudes started singing like they auditioning for The Voice. You had former runners, girlfriends, ex-homies, all trying to dodge fed time by dropping dimes. It was a whole damn musical. Who Wants Immunity? Cue orchestra. Over 20 people got indicted, and damn near all of them folded. Testimony flying like confetti. Singleton stood on the stand, chest puffed like he was still wearing his badge, talking about how he helped Peña kidnap and set dudes up. No, Smith too, saying he drove folks straight into Peña's trap. By the time they got Peña in front of a judge, the evidence piled like a CVS receipt. So dude took the smart route, pleaded guilty, didn't ask for no trial, didn't pull no theatrics. He knew the streets was watching and the feds was packing. He cut his losses and walked straight into that life sentence like it was a business trip. No parole, no early release, no nothing, just concrete and still forever. When Peña finally took that plea deal, it was like the whole damn courthouse let out a sigh of relief. Not cause justice was served, nah, more like cause they knew they ain't have the stomach to sit through a trial that long. Homie walked in, took his life sentence, and saved the prosecution from exposing just how incompetent and late to the party they really was. Let's talk about that prosecution team for a second. Man, they strutted out that courtroom like they just took down Pablo Escobar, like they cracked some damn Da Vinci Code level conspiracy. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. Y'all ain't solved this. This case solved itself. All them years Peña was moving dope, making hits, paying cops, building an empire brick by brick, and y'all let it ride until his own people flipped? Imagine being that slow. Peña out here running a cartel in the middle of a Mardi Gras city, and the only reason he got caught is because the phones got hot and the rats got nervous. That's not detective work, homie. That's catching the bag after it already dropped off the truck. But of course, once it was all over, they threw a damn press conference like this was some huge win for law enforcement, like the same system that let crooked cops moonlight as hitmen now deserve the parade for finally doing their job. Spoiler alert, you don't get props for cleaning up a mess you helped make. Let's keep it a buck. The city of New Orleans wasn't just a backdrop to this story, it was an accessory. The departments were so crooked back then they needed braces. You had NOPD officers using department cars to snatch rivals off the street. You had chain of command acting like they ain't seen nothing, did nothing, or know nothing either. And when the feds finally got involved, all they really did was mop up what already was spilling over. Singleton and Smith didn't get caught, they gave themselves up. Peña didn't get busted, he pleaded out because he knew it was checkmate. By that point, it was either life or death row, so he took life and kept it moving. You know what the wildest part is though? The city ain't even act surprised. Nah, folks in the neighborhoods where Peña was king, they been knew he wasn't no ghost. This man was riding around the city like he had a VIP pass to crime. He ain't just move weight, he moved people, influenced them, scared them, paid them. Peña had folks loyal to him like it was a religion. Dude would lay down their life for that empire, not because he was some benevolent boss, because he fed the hood when the city never starving. That's how real power works, and that's why so many people stayed quiet. Peña was giving them paychecks, and the government was giving them subpoenas. Even after he went down, the streets didn't just go quiet. Nah, the void left behind sparked off turf wars, power grabs, and a whole new wave of violence. You take a Kingpin off the board, know it, and now everybody want to be king. The feds thought they solved the problem, but really they just broke the balance. Fast forward a few years, and look who pops back up. David Singleton. Man did time for Peña, got out, and what he do? He caught dealing again. Like, bruh, you had one job. Sit your ass down and thank God you ain't right in Angola. But no, this man jumped right back in the game like he forgot he ain't on probation. He on borrowed time. That's the punchline right there. Crooked cop who helped a Kingpin run New Orleans from the inside out, got out and tried to run his own side hustle. Like the streets forgot. Spoiler, they didn't, and neither did the feds. Singleton got picked up again in a drug sweep, this time without the badge and without the backup. Just a washed up ex-cop thinking he still had the juice. The only juice he had was the one he was pouring in his styrofoam cup while waiting on his next court date. And for Peña, as known address, federal pen, life bid, no parole. Dude still alive, but his name don't ring bells no more. Streets moved on, the hustle changed, but his legacy that's etched in the city like blood on concrete. Every time a rookie cop get caught up in dirty business, every time a dope case in New Orleans smells a little too political, let's believe somebody out there whispering the name Richard Peña. Not cause they miss him, because they remember. Remember how he moved undetected while the whole system looked away. Remember how he turned cops into contractors and prosecutors into punchlines. Remember how a single man ran the city under the radar. How the people we paid to protect us too busy counting their side money to even notice. That's the real crime. Not the dope, not the guns, not the bodies. Real crime was the silence, the years of looking the other way, cover-ups, the cooperation, the I didn't know, and the we'll do better next time. Next time came and went. Peña gone, Singleton flopped, and the system still trying to clean his face with dirty hands. And that's the end of this chapter. Richard Peña, New Orleans' invisible kingpin, the man who proved you don't need a crown to run a kingdom, just cash, connections, and a whole lot of silence.